Hey out there. So, since we're moving to an online format for the foreseeable future, I thought it would be fun to talk a little bit about music history using my record collection. So, this will be one of, I hope, weekly videos where I pick a record, classical or otherwise, talk a little bit about the music, the historical context, maybe where I got the record, and then listen to a little bit. So I imagine these will be kind of like 10 minutes or so. Some may go less, some may go more, but and we'll just see how it goes. I welcome your comments. I will post this in Google Classroom, and you can comment there. I'd love to hear your feedback. So, without further ado, here's the first one. I thought it would be nice to start with some Bach. So this is a Bach set of his 6 Brandenburg concertos. Now, he wrote these 6 concertos for the Margrave of Brandenburg and presented them to him in 1721. At the time, they were massive pieces of music, the diverse instrumentation, and they've really become pinnacles of the writing at the time. So anyway, he presented these in 1721. The Margrave didn't have the orchestra to pull it off, so it ended up in a desk drawer and wasn't unearthed until 1849, which then they were quickly published and kind of found their spot in history. This performance is by the Württemberg Chamber Orchestra, and I came across this record. I think I got this one at a secondhand shop in Sturgeon Bay, Wisconsin, which is my hometown, and I think I got them. It's 3 records. I think I got them for 50 cents a record, so not a bad deal for 6 Brandenburg concertos, plus there's a triple concerto and a harpsichord concerto, etc. So not a bad way to spend $1.50, to be sure. So anyway, I don't remember if I mentioned, but yesterday was the birth anniversary of Bach. He was born in 1685 and lived until 1750, so this is his 335th anniversary of his birth. So, and I would like to play for you just a little bit of his first one, which is less common. It's written for horn and 3 oboes and bassoon and harpsichord. And the most interesting one is piccolo violin, which I looked up on Wikipedia, and a piccolo violin is it's like the size of a child-sized violin, and it's tuned a third or a fourth higher. You don't see those much anymore. They're a really unique Baroque instrument that kind of faded into obscurity. The ones that do get played are the second one, the third one, and the fifth one are the most popular. 1, 4, and 6 are less popular because of stuff like needing a piccolo. Who has a piccolo violin hanging around? So anyway, I really like this recording because unlike a lot of music from the Baroque era, this particular version is kind of it's a little slower. It's a little more legato. Baroque music is usually more staccato, like more notes in between, more space in between. Excuse me. And this one has more. I don't know. It has a je ne sais quoi that I don't get from other recordings of this. So I'm just going to let this play. I may interject some commentary, but I'm going to play just the first movement. Enjoy. Now this movement is in what's called a ritornello form. Ritornello is Italian for return. What you'll hear is the same theme will come back periodically with like little solo spots in between. It's kind of like verse and chorus in pop music. There are the horns. You can hear several instruments pass around a little nugget of music called a motive. That theme came back, but now it's minor. Final cadence there at the end. And we'll hold it there right now. So, I threw around this term concerto a lot, and I figure I should probably define what a concerto is. So a concerto, in short, is there's often just one instrument that's being showcased, but in this case, it's a small collection of instruments that are being showcased, and they're backed by the larger group. So in broad strokes, that's what a concerto is. Now, that was just the first movement, the first segment of this concerto. There's four, and each Brandenburg concerto has several movements, and they all run about 20 or 25 minutes in length. Yeah, I don't know. There's a warmth there that I just don't find when I listen to different recordings of this. It could be a couple of things. One, they could be doing what's called Baroque tuning. So back in the day, they tuned their instruments differently to how we do. We do what's called A440, which we define the frequency of 440 hertz as A. But back then, it was all over the place. The most common one that I've seen is A432, which brings the pitch a little lower and adds a little roundness. The second, and I'm not really sure if they use what are called period instruments or they use modern instruments. Period instruments, some orchestras do. They only use the stuff that was available to the composer at the time, and other orchestras use the modern instruments that they have. So that could be a contributing factor to why I love this recording so much. So that's about all I have. Thanks for watching. I would love to hear your comments. I'd love for you to just say hi. Go back to Google Classroom under the link and add your commentary. I'd love to hear it. And I'll see you next week for a different record.